And here we are with the team that made Life's a Bitch and Then One Kills You, which I believe Alan Wood, the writer-director up there, did give his wife credit for the title.
Yes. She came up with the title. This is Meleta McHarlin. She was also the editor and cinematographer and just everything.
Overall, badass.
Any of it without this person right here, for sure.
Thank you.
Excellent. And then we also have most of the cast.
Yeah, I think all but one, yeah.
If you want, Alan, you can introduce everybody and remind, although everyone just watched it, remind people who they are.
So I guess I don't have everybody on my screen because I'm not real Zoom cool. But I know Dana Weddell's here, and she was the witch.
Yes, I played Anna. It was the joy of my life.
And I want to add that you carried that. You are so great in this film.
Thank you. And that was definitely
your character and your performance. It's great.
Thank you so much. That was definitely a collaborative effort. I mean, Alan wrote, a general synopsis of this character, and I immediately was like, this is Candyland. I was like, I can do anything. That ability to play a witch, to play somebody who is quirky, and, anybody, regardless of whether or not you're a witch. The stakes were very high. There was a secret I was trying to keep under wraps. A relationship I was trying to keep under wraps. So I hope that all came across. But we had a ton of fun as a cast. Going into work every day was a joy. And we didn't necessarily know what we were going to come out of. And I definitely give Alan and Mo credit for creating that collaborative environment where, we had the script and we honored it. And then there were things that happened that were beautiful. And, it was a ton of fun. Working with Lindsay and Nate and Quinton was hilarious. I'm the villain, but we were all on the same team. So I'll let you decide if I was the villain or the hero.
Speaking of the relationships she was keeping under wraps, Kevin Nelson, who didn't say hi and
what's up?
Who you played and what you did, etc.
My name's Kevin. I played Chase, and to this date, this is the greatest ensemble I had the pleasure of working with, because everyone was really funny, and I'm really I was a little intimidated by how funny everyone else was, but yeah, I had a blast. I loved it. I'm waiting for the call sheet to go back to work, Alan.
Well, things are in the works, but who knows when I'll be able to do anything. On my screen, I see Quinton Guyton, who was just amazing in this. Played the role of Eddie. Quinton?
What's up? I played Eddie. I didn't realize that what was missing in my life was playing a character with irritable bowel syndrome. So I want to thank you, Alan, for that opportunity, because I really feel like it's something that the world needs to see.
You see a lot more of that. Yeah.
Visibility. That's what we're all about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Representation matters, people.
Yeah.
Lindsay Plake is here. And our dog is here as well.
The dog's going for it.
I think our gardener just showed up. So I'm going to mute me if I can figure out how to do that while Lindsay talks.
Yeah, hi, I'm Lindsay Plake. I played Liz or Liza. Sometimes
Liza.
Forgot the name.
It depends on which character you ask.
It was such a blast working with everyone. I felt like I learned so much as an artist and grew. And yeah, it was one of the best things I've worked on. So thank you, Alan and Mo and the cast. It was, I miss you guys. Like it's sad that we're not together. But thank you for this opportunity to bring us together virtually.
I don't think I'm muted anymore. Am I not?
You are not.
How do I work this technology? How do I do it?
Give it to Mo.
Can you see Nate?
Nate is here as well.
Yeah,
Hey,
so it's
Nate.
Nate, I believe it's Nate's turn to say hi.
Yes.
Yes, hello. I'm Nate Leykam. I played Michael, the trash person in this. It was a wonderful character to play in its awfulness. So thank you for everyone enduring my character through this movie. But no, it was, as everyone said, the people, as cliche as it sounds, the people that you work with on a set is really kind of what makes it. And when you have from top to bottom people like these guys and gals coming together to have a lot of fun and make something like this, it was a great opportunity. So and a great time.
For sure. Well, now I got to put a question back to Alan and Mo, which is, I mean, because when someone watches this film, the first time I watched it, I thought, wow, was this just this great comedy ensemble who performs on stage together all the time and they decided to just shoot something? You know, it's their chemistry is so good that whether you scripted every word or just set these people loose, either way, you did an amazing job as a director in such a confined, bottle of a space. But I guarantee if this were at the theater and the audience was asking you questions, one of your first questions would be, what was your process creating this one, and how did you bring it all together this way?
Well, the secret is hiring the right people to bring it to life, which I think we really did. I mean, we just held open auditions for this, although we did know three. We knew Lindsay also, but we hadn't worked with Lindsay before. But we knew Nate and we knew Allison, who couldn't make it today to the Q&A. And so we knew we wanted to work with them again, but everybody else was just on audition, and they all just in some way blew us away. But then you never know, because, we've done other projects before, and, it's just a little bit of luck, because when all these folks got together, it just blew up, And part of the process is, yes, I have the story was scripted, and they did a really good job of sticking to it for the most part, but I just let them breathe and have fun with their characters as well. And that's where a lot of the really magical moments in the film came, through just their genius interplay between each other. And, whenever it broke us up on set, we're saying, well, yeah, that's probably going to have to stay, So, that's just the process. Just having what I thought was a good script, and I had it vetted, and some other folks that weren't my mom tell me that it was good. And then once we got it into shape, we found the right people to bring it to life. And then as a director, I guess 90% of your job is finding the right people, and the other 10% is getting out of their way. And that's what I tried to do. I just tried to keep it on course as we were going through the process of filming, and letting them breathe, letting them bring their characters to life, and getting my oppressive thumb off of them, letting them act, letting them do their jobs. And they just all had such great chemistry. We were just really, really blessed. It was really the secret of bringing a film together: get the right people.
Well, I'm sure they'd tell you, but I'll be the one to tell you. I'll jump in and say that you were blessed, but you gave them an amazing road to walk. As a festival programmer, I can promise you, I see a lot of one location features, and your abilities and your instincts to have real 3-act structure, to have real events happening, to twist the story, to change the story, to have characters, even in that one night, evolve and their relationships evolve. More than enough happens in this film to keep the audience entertained for the full hour and a half. And that's a greater accomplishment than you might give yourself credit for.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. That's very kind. And we worked really hard on it, and we're very happy.
And I thank you for giving him that credit too, because this, fantastical idea of a suspenseful, right? I mean, there's some suspense there built in real time that happens in someone's home. I mean, you're right. No, there are very few, very large budget films that can manage that kind of storytelling. And Alan did, I think, with this fantastical idea of sort of exposing that like office culture and brainwashing that can happen. And, you know, just like there were so many things that a lot of us could relate to, even though our office experiences were so vast. We were like, oh yeah, that like herd mentality where you're like, it's fine, she's the witch, deal with it. You know, like that was a thing that we could all tap into. And again, picking the right people. As somebody who went in for the blind audition, you know, with Alan and Mo, I'm on a ride too, right? Like I agree to a project. I don't know who else they've signed up for it. I think the script is okay. Like what happens after that? And it really was, I mean, from everybody from the grips to the people handling props, this was a family affair. This was a supportive affair. This was something that like, I assure you, like, you know, even ordering lunch was a blast. And I don't know how he did it other than, like I said, picking quality people and like shoving us into a very supportive environment. You know, you can be in toxic environments and they didn't do that. So thank you for giving him that credit, especially on the storytelling, because they really did. I mean, and again, as far as sticking to a production schedule, they valued our time. We were, you know, we were there and we hit it. And when we hit it, we moved on. And that was some level of professionalism that I was thrilled to be working in. You know, I've experienced both ends of that spectrum. So thanks for giving him the credit. And Mo too. Without her like sweating and holding that camera, you wouldn't have seen any of this. So it was a very supportive set for sure.
And you kept those spaces fresh as a cinematographer. You know, we don't get tired of looking at the same thing over and over because you keep changing things up a little.
Thank you. That was he picked all the camera angles.
And they're too
Well,
good. They're both good.
it's a really a collaborative medium. I appreciate all the praise and everything, but you know, everybody made suggestions, and if anything, to pat myself on the back as being smart enough to listen to people that are more talented than me and saying, okay, go with that. You know what I mean? It's don't, you know, as a director, maybe don't get too stuck in your own vision that you're too blind to see what might be a better way to go. You know, because a lot of this film didn't turn out the way it was in my head. But as it's happening, you make changes on the fly and you go, wait a minute, that's actually better. So, you know, loosen your reins a little bit on what your vision is, just for the betterment of the film, because you're trying to make something that hopefully you can be proud of and everybody's going to enjoy. And, you know, you're working with hopefully a lot of talented people, which we were lucky to do, and give them a shot to have some input, you know?
If I can jump in, I think it's, I don't know, credit or whatever else, but I appreciated the fact that from Alan and Mo and all the people behind the scenes to all the actors or whatever else, everyone, again, so many times, well, you had asked the question, Jeff, that if we had worked before together, and we hadn't. Many of us have done improv, you know, in our background and whatever else, but we just kind of came together and had that chemistry. And then Alan had the just the set atmosphere that, yes, there was the script, and then he would let us play within those characters that we had created. And then sometimes he would pull it back together and be like, all right, let's get a take of what the script actually says, or something. And but all of it together, I felt like everyone wanted to make something good. No one was like trying to grab spotlight or was trying to like look at me be my improv hilariousness on my own. Like this set of people who are all funny, but we're in our best creative space working together, and all had a very professional attitude toward making this thing. And that's what I appreciate the most, like just being able to, like with me and Kevin or Quinton, and just those moments that made it into the film where it was like not in the script, but we're just doing something bizarre, and Alan let us go for a bit.
As an example, I'm sorry to interrupt, Nate.
No, but
I appreciate that. As
that.
an example of exactly what Nate's talking about, is just the genius of watching Quinton, Kevin, and Nate work when they're in the garage, and the whole writing the on the cuck thing. I mean, all of that was generally there, but there's a lot of that Quinton just started riffing. And then it was never in the script for Kevin to be reacting to what they were saying the way it was. And he just started doing that. And the first time he did it, I was bawling from just laughing. I said, okay, this is dumb, but you got to do that because it's funny. You know, you know, the guy's in a terrible situation, but just so all of that in that garage was almost, you know, just those three guys riffing. So that turned out really great. I mean, we had to cut some of it, but it was fun. That's just an example of what Nate's talking about there.
Yeah, I think what happened when you're watching the film is also you have a nice, fairly large ensemble, but then you let them pair off into 2s and 3s and become comedic duos playing off each other. You know, everyone had turns. Dane and Kevin were you know, early on, even though a knife was involved. You know, that was a comedic team. You know, I can name them all. Like you gave each set of characters a chance to show a different side of themselves with different people on that set.
Yeah, and all of that, a lot of those, some of those relationships were built into the script, and then others were when we were off to the side, like not the focal point of the scene. And then we were like, well, let's just figure out a relationship. Let's figure out something together. And the best thing about this whole thing is that you can have the best script, you can cast all the right actors, but like Nate said, if the atmosphere on the set isn't welcoming and open, then none of that stuff is going to come to fruition on the screen. And Alan and Mo not only did they let us play and let us create those relationships, they were there to make a great film, and the energy was always positive and level, and that made us feel so much more comfortable to be able to feel free to try new things. And then some things didn't work, some things did work, but it was that level of respect and positivity that what made all of our relationships blossom so fast.
To go off that, I really appreciated the supportive environment because it allowed for trust. Like, I trusted Mo, I trusted Alan, I trusted the cast that, you know, I could take risks and play around, and it, you know, it would be okay. So that was a great thing to have.
And poor Lindsay was the only one that really didn't get to be funny very often.
She's very funny.
She's very funny.
She was hilarious.
That's true.
There is the one shoot, Kevin, that was just so fun. Like, that's where I felt like we were able to let loose a little more.
Yeah, but you are the moral conscience. Everyone else is looking at Kevin's ultimate demise, and they're like, who am I to judge? And you're actually the moral conscience who goes, no, actually murder's wrong, everybody.
Right,
We're talking about the movie?
It's
Right?
not
We're talking
okay.
about the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the questions from a jury member. So this is like an audience Q&A. It's you probably would get this everywhere you go, but was there a ton of footage in this? Well, it starts off, the cast is wonderful and everyone seems like they're playing off each other. Did you have a hard time editing because you had so much footage that was funny that wasn't serving story?
Yes. Yeah, it was a long editing process, and there were a lot of choices that had to be made, and some of them very painful. And so yes, to answer that question, yes, there was quite a bit left that we couldn't use, and it was painful. And also, one of the things we noticed most in editing is how all of our actors, this is great for actors to do, and I know they're supposed to, but some don't, is they keep acting when they're not talking. So it's like, you know, you can see upon rewatching, you just watch who you're not supposed to be looking at, and some of the funniest stuff is going on off of the focal point. And those are some of the things we didn't even notice on set until we were editing. And we're going, oh my God, look what Lindsay's doing, or look what Cece's doing, or you know, look what Quinton's doing in the background when someone else is talking, or Kevin, or all of them. They all have incidents. If we're rewatching the film, it just, you know, turn your gaze away from who you're supposed to be looking at, and you're probably going to get more laughs that you didn't see the first time.
For sure.
And that's one thing I love about this movie. I'm sorry. That's one thing I love about this movie, because you can watch this movie 5 different times and see it completely and watch it from a different character's, story. And because every character has a different arc. And if you can watch it and not be bored, watch it 5-6 times and watch it from each character's point of view, and it'll be a completely different film. That's the one thing I love about this movie.
For sure. And the last question I got to squeeze in before we run out of time is the obvious one that you'd be asked at festivals, which is, how long of a shoot was this?
Sorry, I'm muting because they're using the weed whacker right outside the window. It was on every Saturday for 10 Saturdays. So we did it in 10 days. And
Over 10 weeks.
Over 10 weeks. It was one Saturday, 10 weeks, but it was 10 days of shooting, and none of the days were over 12 hours.
And were you doing any rewrites in between, or
every day? That's what like Nate came to set one day, and I gave him some new lines, and he said, well, it wouldn't be a day on set without rewrites from Alan. So yeah, just as things progressed and we thought of new ideas, and then like Lindsay was in makeup one day and she came up with something they were going to say in the bedroom, and so we kind of even brainstormed together on that little scene, changing some lines. So it was just so be flexible with your movie when you're making it, guys. It just, you can get such a better product if you're not afraid to be flexible. That's my biggest takeaway from this first experience of making a feature.
And I would assume a lot of your rewrites were adapting to what you were seeing on set and what people had the ability to do that you could get even more out of.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, flexibility is key. Flexibility and giving your performers the chance to perform, All
right, well, we got a minute left. Does anyone want to jump in with a final something they want to say to the world?
Well, a shout out to Cece and Allison that could not be here. This film, they deserve just as much credit as anybody else. Absolutely. We love you.
Yes, we love and miss you.
Yeah, well, hopefully, it sounds like your cast wants this. They want you to come up with another script and just bring this ensemble back together and
please
become
counting the hours, man. Counting the hours.
Do a Christopher Guest kind of thing and bring this group together over and over.
Yeah, I mean, I did have somebody show up and find my head. So, you know what I mean? Like, we've left it open.
Or we do the thing where we just use the exact... We do the scene where we use the exact same cast, just a completely different story, and everybody in different roles.
For sure. But she did say it's not the first time she's had to take your head and bring you back to life. So.
I'm a bit reckless. What can I say?
See, I'm glad you picked that up. Yeah.
I saw the whole thing start to finish twice now.
Oh,
wow.
All right.
That's
well,
awesome.
I'm so sorry, but I gotta end this. I'm
thank you very much.
sure you all would have been hard to. This would have been a long Q&A in the theater. I would have been like, sorry, there's another movie starting in 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah,
thank you so much for putting us in your festival as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for submitting a thoroughly entertaining movie.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Love and miss everybody.
Love you.
Yep.
We love you.
We love you guys.
Thanks, everyone.